Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a squat and deadlift day. I did some squatting today, and went ahead and used this cambered bar. You know why? Because it transfers really well for me. I tend to be really strong. I'm like, let's just use this for the squatting while I work on shoulder mobility. And I know a lot of people have given well-meaning advice on that, but I'm going to request very politely for you to not give me advice on something when you don't really know what I've done already or tried to do for it. In the meantime, I can't do anything that's going to inflame my shoulders because I want a really big bench. And my shoulder health is really critical, and keeping it uninflamed is critical for me to get that. That 405 bench is really important to me. That's more important to me than ever squatting again. So perspective. So I went ahead and did this, did 445 for an easy triple. I'll probably just build that up from here because there's no shoulder inflammation. There's no discomfort of any type. It's the most comfortable bar in the world. In fact, I didn't even feel heavy. I just needed to get in my groove. I'll probably be doing triples of 500 on it fast. But I felt like, yeah, that's what I need to do. If I want to maintain a squat mechanic, keep working on heavy squatting, that'll carry over. And anytime I need to transition back to the straight bar, I can do so real quick. It takes me a couple workouts to just get used to it, and we'll see how that goes. I'll test that later once I'm sure my shoulder mobility is better, right? And everything's uninflamed, everything's healthy. It's coming along good. Deadlifts, 555 for a triple. Wasn't an all-out 3-rep max. It was a good, challenging triple. Pretty happy with that, right? Pretty happy with that, and I feel like the grip is slowly improving because my grip didn't feel slippery in any way on it. So just the extra rowing and stuff that I'm doing on the upper body days, I think that's really going to be the winner, right? Especially the extra dumbbell rows to finish off. That does a lot for my grip. May want to work in some other hammer curls or other stuff coming up. That and just the frequent deadlifting, I think we're in a good spot there. But I think for me, grip was starting to get a little slippery just because I've been rowing less pulling. I need that pulling volume for my grip. I have to have it. Okay, and I feel like all my deadlift is really limited by upper body at this point. My lower body is very strong, posterior chain strong. I mean, even these are going back up again, right? These are going up. Now doing sets of 10 with these with the 10-pound plate. You know, for me, even sets of 10 on this with no weight at all represents at least a 600 deadlift, or me. So again, I feel like the deadlift's coming along, and the deadlift and the bench are really my most important lifts right now. The squat is just kind of like, I'll get it there when it gets there. I've had big squats before. It's just not that big of a deal to me compared to these other two. I'm really, really hungry for that bench press. Getting that 405 bench is very critical to me. It's very important to me, and I want to do so without gaining a bunch of body weight. So I want to do it while staying 220. My air conditioner just cut on. I'm just going to leave it. I don't care. You guys can deal with it. It's too much hassle to turn it back off in the middle of the vlog. So for supplemental work, continuing to do the belt squats without holding onto it. This is now the heaviest weight I think I've ever used for the belt squat machine without using the handles. We're getting good range of motion. It's a nice wide stance. I managed to get on the final set, because I'm like, let me see if I can do this at 200 last time, because it felt too light. I did 10, 10, and then I did 12 on the last set. Okay, so that's progressing, and I think that's again going to be the key to bringing that squat up. Practicing some heavy squatting just so that we're used to having any weight on our back, practicing the mechanics of a heavy squat, even if it's with a different bar, and then building the musculature. The belt squats and leg presses both, I find carry over tremendously to my very elite squatters. And you know what I mean by elite squatters, guys who are in that, anything past 2.5 times body weight. And I don't like to use those multipliers, but I get a lot of guys like that. You know, we live on these machines. I live on them. And what I mean by that is guys who are squatting over 550 who are 200 plus pounds. below 200-ish. My guys who are 500 plus, who are down under 200 pounds. Well, you know, we live on the machines. We just hypertrophy everything that way. It works great. I prefer the belt squat, but I've done it on leg press for a lot of my lifters. Okay, the leg press works. I mean, I like single leg exercises, but I just feel like the machines like this bring a lot to the table because I'm not as worried about the squat mechanics carrying over it. I think people obsess over that too much sometimes with accessory work instead of going, look, is my accessory work going to get me thick in the right places? Is it just going to get me big? Because our heavy work should handle all of that. And that's a whole other topic. You know, you get people who are like, well, we could do these 70%, 75% on squats and deadlifts, and they think it's going to carry over. It's not. It doesn't carry over any better than a leg press does. It's not the same exercise. So people really obsess over that too much, of thinking they're going to get carryover because they're practicing technique with a lighter weight. Just biomechanically, based on research, everything that we know, it's not even the same exercise. It really isn't. So again, you're not going to get the carryover you want, barring the hypertrophy from it. You know, it's an issue of hypertrophy. And we can use machines to do all that, particularly if we build our back also. You know, that's the other thing. People say, well, you know, you're not getting the back development from that, from doing the squatting. It's like, yeah, but we're also doing heavy deadlifts and other stuff. But what about all this? What about good mornings? What about reverse hypers? What about rows? Those build your back. They build your back more effectively than the squat does. Because the squat, it's all just some isometric back work. These things actually thicken you up. They put muscle on. Okay? Simply what I'm saying is that getting bigger in the right places, getting thicker. And we do that with all this volume work. Of just the right amount of volume, just not mindless amounts of volume. Nice moderate amount of volume on rep work with good exercises with progressive overload. Okay, slowly get better over time. That's your key. And then the heavy work will transfer to the maxes. Okay, heavy work will transfer to the maxes. Anything you do that's beyond that is there to get you bigger. Bigger engine, more potential horsepower. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.